It's bad if trust in the news is low. It's especially bad for the flow of accurate information to our communities and the health of our democracy. I'm Lynn Walsh, the Assistant Director at Trusting News. If we want facts to flourish, as a journalist, we need to work to rebuild relationships with our communities. Building trust with your election coverage and political coverage begins with explaining and being transparent about your reporting process. This is an example from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. They explained how they were going to cover the Georgia legislature, including that because both chambers were controlled by Republicans, that means you're going to see more bills and issues brought up by Republicans covered more. You can also talk about what it means to be independent. We need to get on the record about the fact that we are independent, how we try to be independent, and what our goals for covering individual politicians, individual races, and bigger elections are all about. When you think of all the things there are to explain, it's a long, long list. One thing we've seen newsrooms do is take some of those questions from that list and put them into an FAQ. It can really help gather all of this information in one place and give the public a place to get information about how you plan to cover a big election, a specific race, or learn more about your ethics, story selection, and sourcing. You can also take that FAQ easily to social media by creating social cards. And these explanations also work well on air, in newsletters, in print, and in notes at the top of a story, sort of like an editor's note. Another really important thing we can do is avoid generalizations and adding to polarization. We can ask ourselves questions like, how do we emphasize extreme views? How do we choose what to highlight? When would it be better not to interview the most outspoken people in our communities? Do we go to the extremes because it's easier? Are our deadlines too tight to allow for time for multiple perspectives? And how does journalism flatten out complex views? We want to put people in boxes that are neat and that can be summed up in one or two words. The issue with that is that that's not the reality. How can we complicate the narrative and cover polarizing issues without making them worse? Can we make room for those voices we are not currently hearing from? Are we making room for surprising, unusual, or contradictory views? And are we making room for views that seem more moderate and not extreme? If you want more tips on how to build trust in your election coverage and your political coverage, we have a Medium post that digs deeper into all of this. And feel free to reach out to us at any time.